Then we're live. You're not going to cheer, Marius?
Nope.
This is session number 5, where we're building AIOps pretty much live. It's 2 o'clock, 8 a.m. Eastern time. Maybe wait 1 minute. Okay, let's go. So as done previously, let's recap a little bit what we've done in the previous sessions. Marius, let me know if you, yeah, I think you see my screen. So now we're on session 5 of the live building AIOps with Eyer sessions or plan. So today we have a target of getting through this in 30 minutes. We try to keep it short and concise. The topic is using Eyer with Model Context Protocol, or MCP, from Anthropic using Claude. I will do a little bit of a recap what we've done previously, which essentially is what I'm doing now. I will do a few slides, I suppose, Marius, and then a little bit of a demo, and we can do a little bit of Q&A if there's any questions that arises during the session. Mm-hmm. So in our previous sessions, we've done everything from setting up dashboards in Grafana, looking into anomaly alerts and investigating alerts. We've done customizing alerts using N8N and no-code DB to add context to alerts to make sure you don't drown in alerts but get relevant. And in that scenario, we also did specific tagging of people using Discord, so that's a part of the toolkit. And in the second session, we were first and second session, we were introducing the concepts of N8N, which is a low-code or no-code integration platform. It's super easy to use, and also no-code DB, which is a very easy database to use. Bringing that a little bit back to the higher level architecture we tend to talk about, which is essentially our AIOps protocol of how you can implement AIOps end-to-end from whatever data and systems that technology may have across your tech estate, or for that sake also manufacturing sites. For us, we're really about automating AIOps process end-to-end and hopefully provide better insights earlier for you to take action to prevent failures and disruption in whatever systems that are important for you. Eyer in itself is, in its simplicity, is consuming data from different applications, so time series performance metrics, telemetry, or a lot of different words for the same thing, but essentially performance data. And we surface insights that allow you to understand performance anomalies that could have an impact on your environment, to allow you to take actionable alerts before anything breaks and your business is impacted. So Eyer is completely API exposed, which means that there's no UI for any of this. So you're feeding data to our APIs using some sort of open source agent typically. And then you have different kind of APIs to tap into the insights we create, everything from correlations or dependencies between different sources you're feeding to understand what's really running. And also an alerts API, or that's like, you can use it also as a webhook. That suppose that's what you're using mostly, Marius, to understand and use alerts in different kind of flows, to send notifications, to route them, to enhance them with custom data. But there's also more, APIs that can be used for forecasting, for example. So in our AIOps architecture, we have previously been talking a lot about dashboards, how you set up dashboards, notifications to different sources, and actually we mostly use Discord, which is not really on this slide, but could be an alternative to Slack and ServiceNow here. And we've spoken a little bit about Boomi, which is typically a use case for us, so monitoring Boomi basically out of the box, what can be done. we have showcased how you can use LLMs and until now, OpenAI, to understand better what is happening in your environment and enrich it essentially by the capabilities of OpenAI. And also we've been using OpenAI to help really give you alerts that maybe make even more sense for you. But today we've added one more component to this architecture, and that's Claude MCP, which is from Anthropic.
It's not Claude MCP, it's Claude with an MCP.
Claude with an MCP.
Yeah.
So with that, Marius, I think I'm going to hand it over to you.
Okay. Do you share my screen now?
Yeah, I will do. There you go.
Let me know. Okay, because I don't see the stream anymore. Okay, so first, what is MCP? And you partly, wait, I guess you mentioned the word MCP, so Model Context Protocol. I think of it as a framework wrapping the APIs and making them available for any AI. So say it could be Claude, like we're going to use today. It could be OpenAI. It could be anything. So it's a standardized way to make APIs and information available to an AI. And yeah, this is a rather simplified explanation on how MCP works. So it's basically a wrapper, standardized way of gathering a bunch of APIs and making those APIs available for the LLM. And then we're going to also touch on how to create an MCP server. It's multiple ways. Today we're going to focus on how to use Postman. It's really easy to use, and you can see it mentioned up here. Obviously, you can also do your own coding if you want to go in that direction, meaning you customize every single file and setup, and you do all the coding. Or you can also find pre-built MCPs. We also have an MCP available, which you can find on our support page. But you also have multiple sites that are providing out-of-the-box MCP servers ready to go and to be integrated and used. A bit back to Postman and why we chose to use that one. It's really easy to use Postman because Postman has a rather large collection of APIs available, and you can use that collection to pretty much like select the APIs you want to have included in the MCP, and then you click build, and then Postman is building everything that you need, and you can just download the zip file and you're almost ready to go. Another thing which is mentioned at the bottom here, so if you have some of your own APIs, custom APIs, whatever, if you publish these and make them publicly available, you can also choose to include those APIs into a larger collection. So let's say you want to integrate towards, or you want to use the Eyer APIs and you want to pair that with some custom APIs that you have some additional information on. You can wrap those two together, click build, and you have an MCP covering everything that you like.
Nice.
A bit about our setup. So this is a bit like the one we saw previously about Google APIs and everything. But here we see that we have Claude, we have the MCP server, and the MCP server, the one that is downloadable on our website, it gives you access to a few APIs from Eyer. Plus, it also grants access for Claude, or the MCP server provides also access to local files and documents. Of course, you have to define in the setup which folders or files you want to grant access to. So this is customizable. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 APIs from Eyer. Yeah.
So from a user perspective, you need to install or download that MCP server to a server or a PC or something, right? It's not a cloud application.
Yeah, so I just been downloading it, running it on my PC, and as you say, you can run it anywhere.
Okay.
A bit about the APIs that's been included. So all these APIs are focusing on getting anomaly alerts, getting more context and historical values on these alerts. And as you can see by context, I'm thinking about getting correlations. So if you see an alert coming from Eyer and you want to probe about how are these correlated or the components affected by the anomaly alerts, are there any correlations? Is there something else I should be checking? What's the potential impact, etc.? And also, if there's any alert that you've been discovering that you want to have more details about, you can do that with some of these APIs as well. One thing, so local files and documents, the reason I added this is because having all this information about the anomalies, that's great. You can query natural language, you can get all sorts of information. But if you grant Claude access or the MCP access to files in that folder, you can have knowledge base documents, you can have remediation documents, you could have specific instructions based on what kind of components are being affected by the alerts, etc. And this is all gathered together by the MCP into Claude. So you can mix all this together. Let's say you have one node that's having an anomaly, a CPU on a server. For that specific server, you have some instructions in the knowledge base, and that will be taken into account when then you're giving an answer on what you should do or how you should run remediation, etc. And also one other thing to keep in mind, these are APIs, and if you use this together with Claude, Claude is not going to automatically pull this every minute or something. You have to ask a question, and then it's pulling. And a lot of stuff can happen. Let's say you use this use it twice a day. Then you will get, by using the APIs here, you will get up-to-date information about what's ongoing now, unless you probe specifically for something back in time. So you might have a gap of information in between those two time ranges when you were asking those questions. So with a small script that we're also making available, this script will pull every minute updates from Eyer when it comes to anomalies and segment this into different files that you can also process with the MCP. So you always have the historical, you're able to backtrack basically anything that's been happening the current day. So you could do it like this, or you could obviously do it in any other way. You connect all these alerts to a database and have Claude access to give Claude access to the database. But for this setup, we're just using file-based. So, example, running an MCP server Claude. Yeah, so we're going to use Postman. The cool thing in Claude is that once you have the MCP running, you can turn on and off the different APIs based on your needs. You don't need to, but if you think that Claude is accessing this and this API too much, or you don't need that API, you can turn it off directly. We're coming back to that. We're going to cover the setup that I was just explaining with the file access. And also one cool thing that we saw that you mentioned today, I think. Yeah, it was today, Ivar. Is Boomi and Claude with MCP. So Boomi just released this video showing this. It's a video. I just did a screen capture with Claude together with Boomi. It looks like Boomi is going hard on MCP and allowing people to use MCPs to provide additional context into their integrations. And by doing this, obviously you could pair Eyer as an MCP to go together with all the information coming from Boomi, and you have direct access to Eyer within the Boomi environment using Claude. So this is super cool. A lot of additional context from logs and everything combined with the anomaly detection that Eyer is doing, because that functionality is not available in Boomi.
Yeah, so in addition to maybe having some custom documents sitting locally that might say something about what you're interested in and what is prod and that kind of stuff, you can then also tap into Boomi's logs and probably more, right? To
Mhm.
further enrich and maybe give even more insight into what potentially could be causing a metric to skyrocket, or a CPU or a latency issue to go nuts, I guess. So So essentially, this could mean that, okay, we identify from Boomi's metrics, performance metrics, that things are behaving abnormally, and using then this MCP server, using the Boomi MCP server, we could be able to identify that it's actually some certain logs exposed by Boomi that's causing that issue.
Yeah, not logs causing that, but there's information in those logs that could be paired with the performance information, I should say. So yeah, it provides an additional layer to the knowledge base information that you already have. So yeah, it's
Very
super cool. Okay, let's get on to actually deploying this thing. On our support page, we have 2 articles. For now, we don't have anything else. I don't think we need that much more. It's not that complex. So first of all, you need to download the Eyer MCP server. So this is pre-baked. You can bake this MCP server yourself using Postman. Let's do that before we move ahead. So Postman, just using a browser, going to their API network, build AI tools. And from here, you can search for anything. Not everything is available, obviously, but there's quite a few APIs that's available here, and this database continues to grow quite quickly.
And
if you search for,
assuming that Boomi had published theirs here, it would be available easily, I suppose.
Yes. Hire API collection, and you get all the APIs available, most of them at least. So if you choose a few, I want this, add request, and then it gives you a summary, generate, and that's pretty much it. After that, you just download it. And then we'll get back to how you're, and it's in this stage where you can include other APIs as well. If you want to have some additional APIs that's providing insight or whatever that you want to pair with the anomaly detection, some contextual data perhaps or something. And then it's just downloading. Again, as mentioned, we have a pre-baked one with most of these APIs. You can just click this one, you get into our GitHub, you download it, and that's it. 6 APIs covering anomaly investigation, correlations, and insight into components monitored. So to get everything up and going, there's not that many prereqs, but you need Node.js installed, and you need NPM installed. Once you have unzipped the MCP, it will look something like this. So you see Postman MCP server, and you have this list here. Then from a command window in the same folder, you run npm install. I already done this, and that's pretty much it. That installs all the dependencies. You should be good to go after you've been doing that command. Then add your Eyer API token read. So everyone using Eyer, they will have 3 different or 2 API tokens and 1 environment ID being sent to them. And here you are to use the API token read. And you add that API token read to all files in the following folder. So it's where all the APIs are listed. So if you go in here, it's under tools. And you can see here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. In all of this, you add that token. And once you've done that, and you saved everything, the MCP package is good to go. Okay, so then it's over to the next step. Your MCP server is now ready. And now we're going to do the cloud integration. And that's the next article. Eyer MCP with Cloud. Make sure you downloaded the Eyer MCP. We've done that. It's good to go. On Cloud for desktop, go to settings, developer, edit config. and I have Claude running here. So I go to settings, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Did it change just now? No, sorry. I'm at the wrong settings, I think. I'm here. There we go. And you go to developer and you click edit config. Here, Claude will have everything configured for you. It's pointing you to the correct file, and this is the file that you need to open. So if I'm opening this one, you get a config. And also, as far as I recall, we have that config here. So this is the config. It doesn't look like this initially. This is the way that we recommend that you configure it. You see the path up here to your MCP server. So this is the whole Eyer thing. And then we go to the file system part. And the only thing you need to modify here is which you need to provide a path to the folders that you want to grant access for to Claude. So in this case, I only granted it access to a single folder, and that's it. So use the template below and modify the following. And as you can see here, modify the arc sections with the path and the file system path, and then restart Claude for desktop. So it grabs the updated config. And once you've done that, let's get rid of this one and let's try to go back to this. No, that was not the correct one. Let's go to this. You'll see in this sign here, search and tools. If I'm clicking it, you should be able to see Eyer. And you see the APIs. As mentioned, you can disable everything or one by one the APIs if you don't want Claude to use any of these APIs. And also the file system and what kind of access or rights it should have. Should it be able to read and write and all that stuff? So for now, everything is wide open, as you can see here. So this is just to verify that you have the config correctly configured and that you have the MCP server running. And then a bit about the file access. So not this one, but this one. So I have a dedicated folder for Claude. And in that folder, I'm just storing, this is just a demo. So I've been storing a simple text file. Let's see. So this is just, again, for demo purposes. This could be a complete knowledge base. It could be PDFs. It could be Google Docs. It could be a system. So for instance, if you want an integration towards Confluence, you could do that in the MCP itself. But this is just some context so that Claude knows a bit about the alerts and the things being monitored and how it should weight the different information and give recommendations. So it's, again, it's a simple setup for demo purposes. I'm also running a small JavaScript that once a minute, it goes into one of the Eyer APIs and fetches all new anomaly alerts, including new alerts, updates on existing alerts, and information about closed anomaly alerts. And this is segmented per hour. So once a new hour starts occurring, or when a new hour starts, the file is renamed so that Claude has some kind of concept about time, because there's no time concept built into these LLMs. So if you just ask it about time after you kept Claude open for 6 hours, it will state that it was the time 6 hours ago or some other crazy stuff. So we've been prompting it to always use the timestamp of the most recent update of the files. That should be the current time, and it uses that timestamp to provide you feedback. If you ask what's been happening for the past hour, So it will have some kind of concept about time.
Mm.
And that's pretty much it. So if I go back to Claude now, let's see if it's, I will check for current time, check for current time. Let's see if it's able to understand what it should do. So it's accessing the file area. Alerts 14, so you can see it's now 2:26. So this is correct. This is the current hour. Based on the most recent file snap, the current time is 14:25:52, which is great. Then you can ask, give me an overview of all new alerts within the current hour. So probing the files based on what I was asking. Let's see if it does some other lookups as well. Now it's also using the APIs to provide if there's some additional information on what's ongoing. So pairing the files with the APIs.
Mm-hmm.
So new alert 12:25. This is UTC, so that's fine. Severity low, affected node issue, learning status. So not to deep dive too much into Eyer in this this video, but learning status is something we provide in both alerts and per metric. And it's just something about how well learned all the metrics that are included in an alert is. And perhaps a bit backward, but 0 is the best and everything is perfectly learned. We are really good to go when it comes to anomaly detection. 5 is the worst. That means that we do not have enough data yet, or it's low frequency data, whatever. That we will still provide alerts, but you should be careful acting on it because we don't have enough data yet. So you see learning status 0 should be addressed according to our guidelines. And this is also something that you'll find in here. Learning status should always be lower or equal to 1. If not, the alert should be ignored. So you see now it's using the context as well based on the file input. The folder size is increasing. Let's see if there's anything else. Learning status 3 should be ignored according to our guidelines. Based on our action guidelines, you should focus on these alerts. Again, it's taking into account what I've been writing. Learning status 0, action delete unnecessary files from the D drive on test machine 1, and that's because I think if it's low on this space, the user should delete unnecessary files. So that's the recommendation, right? So it's taking that into account.
Yeah. And essentially, this could be a massive knowledge base or remediation documents or post-mortem documents or really anything, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and you can pull multiple sources. If you have something in Confluence, if you have something on Google Docs, something on your local hard drive, you can mix and match everything into a single instance of Claude, and it would take everything into account.
Yeah, and tying it back to Boomi with the MCP server they published, right? You could give that context as well.
Yeah, so back to Boomi, all of this would then be available in that screenshot, right, that we had here, this one. So this is Claude that Boomi is using. So you could have all that information at your fingertip while still inside the Boomi interface.
Yep.
And then, as you mentioned, take into account every single log item or anything else that's being provided by Boomi.
Very interesting.
So that's super cool. That's a lot of additional context that you'll be able to get in there. I think that pretty much concludes it.
Very nice. We are on 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Well, the clock says 29:48.
Yeah,
a target of 30 minutes.
Just worth mentioning. So perhaps we should also give some examples on initial instructions. So what personal preferences should Claude consider? So this again is something that you can use for any LLM. So just give it some initial instructions, how it should treat the disk folder, look for the most recent timestamp. It's a few instructions that you should prompt before you start navigating or asking questions. We can post this as an example as well. And of course, feel free to modify it based on your needs.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Thank you, Marius. I think we'll end there. And on the topic of sessions, I don't think we have the topic scheduled yet for next build session, but we'll post that somewhere on LinkedIn probably very soon. Thank you.
And again, if you have any questions, we have our Discord server as well. Feel free to ask any questions there.
Okay, good. See you.